do a proper video on Remington rolling blocks. Many were made over the years in the 1880s, 1850s, 60s, 70s, all the way up to past 1900 anyway. Different countries. This is a model number 4, frame 4. Most likely for kids at that time, turn of the century or below that. Now, I found this on eBay some years ago, and because I'm a Remington rolling block collector, I maybe have 100 or more of the Remington rolling blocks, plus parts, plus frames, barrels, and all that, along with other guns like Civil War guns. I got so many, forgot how many I got, but oh well. So, the frame and barrel was on eBay, and I bought it years ago. I forget how much I paid for it. It wasn't much. So I decided to do something with it. I came across and looked at it. Well, and then I got into something strange, like making a pistol grip for it out of brass bar stock. And this end piece is kind of garish looking, but oh well. And I put a spring in there, so a different spring. But it feels good. I mean, it's really got a nice balance to it for target practice if you're going to use vintage 22 caliber bullets. So, dry firing is not really good for firearms, but see, it's that half cock, and that's safety, right? Full cock, then it's ready to go. So, boom, pull back. This is the rolling block. You put your bullet in there, in the chamber, cartridge. Put this back, close that. You fire it. And what happens is this moves, because it's moving like a rolling hammer as well, it blocks this kicking back. One of the most strongest actions ever made. And I was inspired. I got so many of them, I got to get them all organized someday. I got so many things I'm doing. I've worked 9.9. So that's, it'll handle modern ammunition, by the way. So, and we have here on the barrel, it's kind of been wrecked by somebody who had it before, of course, but it was on eBay, 22 short or long, Remington, trademark. Probably 1880s. Something like that. It's kind of, you can see it's got rusted some time ago. But yeah, it's I fitted this on the milling machine, this chunk of brass as a handle. Could have used wood, but oh well. I get inspired to do silly things like that with things. So. Like a part, I'll make a whole frame around, a whole system around a part. I'll give you an example. My next project, when I got time, because I got to get all the radio stuff running and going. This headstock, small headstock for a lathe, and this is a compound. I'm looking at it and saying, okay, I got an idea. All I have to do is get a chunk of steel, 1/2 inch, nice cold roll steel plate. Mill one side with a dovetail. This would fit. Ooh, it's very heavy, this little thing. Onto here's the dovetail, and just perfect fit. Okay. It's heavy, so it doesn't pucker. Anyway, this would just bolt on as a headstock and line it up true. I'm not going to have a milling machine or a little lathe. I can't find a tailstock for that thing. I gotta look more, and if I find the tailstock, I'll use it. But if not, I can use it like so. That's one of my getting into building things all the time. I got this lathe up here. I restored that okay. It's quite a gem. I'll have to get flat belts and motors for this stuff. Yeah. And what else? some months ago. Let's see. But I get inspired to create things like this thing. All these different parts were off eBay, and they're all, well, I made them match up, and it's true and accurate, so built all of that for it. What fun, my design. It works great, too. Wow, we're Dominion dudes. So I like restoring things. And that's why I like getting stuff on eBay, because you can restore it. I restore stuff quite easily, actually. See, I'm going to put a shelf up in the machine room, I call it. So, show you this fellow. He works really well, too. I'll put this down for a minute and plug it in. You know, iPad, you gotta do this, do that kind of crap. Yeah. Good to see Paul Mueller and Inventor 3 back at it. Missed his videos for quite a while. You know, having some issues with things. We all do, don't we? So, we have this little fellow. Cleaned up nice. I got a faceplate, made a faceplate for that chuck. And it works great. It's a really unusual little thing. Nobody knows what it is. And I put all this, again, my superstructure to drive it. It works great. I got my mini lathe I got in 2000. Still haven't found a belt for it, but that's okay. I run it with a Variac. I don't like all that modern electronics. I got some back here, a wood lathe. Could use for steel. What else I got here? Weird stuff. This indicator system. U.S. Navy property. Oh dear, Navy identification numbers. Oh dear. Another eBay item. It's for testing for trueness on certain things. And we have here a baby milling machine and drill. It's very heavy, well-made little piece. Somebody had it on eBay too. For very fine work. I made my own version with a Dremel out of an old microscope stand. It works. And now, high speed, you don't need that much structural stuff. What else I got in there? Oh my goodness. I have my teletypewriter. That works great. Goes into the modem. Transmit wirelessly as well as receive wirelessly. That's the upper deck. All vacant up there. Waiting for goodies to come in. Oh boy. Another lathe. I made this one too. I had a headstock and tailstock. What do you do with those two? Well, you get to a metal supply shop and find I-beams or H-beams. The legs are from eBay. This is a metal supply place. Screw and just, I made all the superstructure too. And for a compound, well, here we with this stupid thing. Could probably do better, but it does work. That was a fun project, for Pete's sake. The motor I got free from a scrapyard. Santa Rosa. So it works. So this is my insanity. John's insanity. Let's make sure if I plug it in, it's not going to whack us something. Totally insane. So I plugged it in. If that's still running, that plug. Switch. Nice and quiet. Poor jaw chuck. With all the extra tools. So that's fun doing that one. Ha! And I have these things here.